Hello, my name is Aissatou Diallo, and I'm an urban designer and planner working within UN Habitat's Urban Lab. Today we will be looking at inclusivity within the planning process. Indeed, the wide range of opportunities offered by cities lend a social value to urbanization. When cities are well planned and managed, they can lift families out of poverty. They can fight gender-based discrimination. They can point to bright futures for children and youth. They can offer comfort and support to the elderly and welcome those who are looking for a better life. The value of urbanization is socially inclusive when it enhances gender equality, when it protects the rights of minorities and people in vulnerable situations, and when it ensures civic participation. An inclusive participation framework reduces conflicts between the local governments and stakeholders with different interests. It strengthens public-private partnerships, facilitates active citizenship and knowledge exchange. It also helps in developing relevant urban policies and projects that support physical, economic, cultural, and social needs of all people, of all abilities, backgrounds, and income level. The unit will provide an overview of relevant activities to ensure participation and provide examples of those in practice. The Zoom focuses on three main learning objectives. Firstly, understanding the key subjects to consider in planning an inclusive urban environment. Secondly, understanding the key steps and techniques for participatory planning. And thirdly, provide a demonstration of participatory techniques in practice. Part 1, understanding the key aspects to consider in planning an inclusive urban environment. To achieve UN Habitat's vision of a better quality of life for all in an urbanizing world, it is important to integrate the cross-cutting issues of urban planning, social inclusion, resilience, and safety within the planning process. The dimension of social inclusion encompasses human rights, gender, children, youth, and older persons, as well as disability. To ensure social inclusion, participatory planning processes should be in place. Part 2, steps and tools for participatory planning. Different levels of participation exist, such as information, stakeholder consultations, decision-making, and empowerment. Below, you will see the key project phases and activities that can bring special focus on gender and people in vulnerable situations. The stage of defining appropriate participation setup. At this phase, conducting a stakeholder mapping is crucial to define relevant stakeholders, such as NGOs specialized on gender, social inclusion, and community activists. For example, such tool as Her City Toolbox, the digital next step in the Urban Girls Movement initiative, provides a practical guidance on stakeholder mapping to involve girls and young women in urban development, and eventually to make the city a better place for everyone. The two types of committees, steering and technical advisory, should be formed at the early stage of the project. It should include women and people in vulnerable situations to ensure their thorough participation. A design communication strategy is important to raise awareness among all the stakeholders. It should bring attention to the project activities and issues around social inclusion, such as empowerment of women, as well as addressing the needs of the most vulnerable. Municipality websites, social media, journals and newspaper, physical posters, digital forums, street murals, boards installed in public spaces and events are all useful techniques in embracing participation. The public launch of the project is also an important element that builds a commitment to develop an inclusive planning process that starts from the community's needs. The stage of desk and field research, analysis, and validation. Participation should be integrated in all the project phases. During the desk research, relevant stakeholders may be contacted in advance to get insights on key subjects, studies, and relevant partners. During the field research and analysis, collaborative mapping exercises aim to spatialize local knowledge of the place. Rapid planning studios, fact-finding sessions can significantly help to assess the community's perception of the place and to ensure gender-responsive interventions, which further should be validated by the communities during the organized workshops. Part 3, demonstration of a few examples of participatory techniques in practice. Participatory activities should be defined taking into account the specifics of the area and the most convenient modality for the community. For example, the walking and talking method was conducted in Kurag, Tajikistan, to probe the relationship between people and places that are significant to them. The modality was selected due to the will of the community to demonstrate the traditional way of living and the need to explore the typical housing typology and the impact of natural hazards on housing. The explorative nature of the activity provided both quantitative and qualitative data generated by physical experience. Before the walking tour, the team specified the requirements for the participants of the activity to ensure gender balance and a diverse background. The communities chose the sites to address the situation of persons in the most vulnerable situations, residing in the areas prone to severe hazards with limited access to water. Walking and talking exercise provided an opportunity to georeference local knowledge using a printed map and discuss potential solutions related to resettlement strategy on the site. In Saudi Arabia, the participatory process included Rapid Planning Studio, a set of workshops from fact-finding sessions to visioning and validation charrettes to gather all the stakeholders around one table, ensuring gender balance. Special participation sessions with women were organized to validate the design proposals and to collect feedback to jointly develop recommendations on safety and convenient circulation, how to better organize the interior space and develop context-specific design elements such as covered terraces, mashrabias for privacy, private internal courtyards, and other interventions. The discussions were supported by a collaborative mapping exercise aimed to visualize the key elements important for women and girls in urban environments, public spaces, and housing. The final neighborhood design proposal took into account intermediate findings and was further validated during the following session with the women's group. Conclusion: Lessons learned. To sum up, the unit provides key messages important for policy and design development. Firstly, participation strategy should be defined at the early stage of the project that allows to start engaging with stakeholders as soon as possible. Secondly, to ensure inclusive planning, gender balance, and people in vulnerable situations should be given the most serious attention. A diverse reference group should be a part of a project's advisory and steering committees. Thirdly, the modality of participation should take into account local contexts and convenient ways for communities to participate.